What do we got?
I have some political memorabilia, the Secret Service ID for J. Howard McGrath, Attorney General of the United States.
Okay.
Some letters signed to him by J. Edgar Hoover, Hubert Humphrey, his White House pass,
Oh, that's cool.
and half of a $10 bill signed to him.
You know, I never got the Secret Service because everybody knows they exist.
I came into the pawn shop today to try and sell some political memorabilia from the Attorney General of the United States, J. Howard McGrath. I really don't know what they're worth. Kind of had a number of 1,000 in my head, but we'll see how it goes.
Where did you get these?
I bought them from his grandson.
All right. McGrath was the Attorney General under Truman, late 40s, early 50s. I don't think McGrath was actually in the Secret Service, but being the Attorney General, I'm sure he could get any credentials he wanted.
He was the top law enforcement official.
J. Howard McGrath was a power player in Washington politics. He was the chairman of the Democratic National Committee when Truman ran for president. So Truman picking him to be Attorney General? Cronyism, you think? These are pretty interesting here. And this right here is...
I believe that is half of a counterfeit $10 bill. They signed it to the Attorney General.
You sure it's counterfeit and just not a bad misprint?
I don't know.
Sometimes when the Bureau of Printing and Engraving make a bill, they screw up. Misprint bills can be worth a lot of money to collectors. But counterfeit money, that's a whole different story. It's a federal offense to use a counterfeit bill, so I'm assuming you can't own one. Yeah, it's counterfeit. All American currency, they throw silk rag in with the paper. So if you pick up a bill and you look at it closely, you'll see little red and blue lines all over it. If that's not there, it's not real. This doesn't have any of those.
All right.
I don't even think it's legal to own this thing.
Okay.
This is an amazing collection. You just never see stuff like this, but it scares the hell out of me. I mean, counterfeit money and Secret Service credentials, this is the kind of stuff that can get me in hot water. You got some neat stuff here, and these three things right here, I really want to get checked out. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure it's a felony to own this thing.
Yeah, the last thing I need is the feds coming through the door of this place.
Let me go make a phone call. I'll be
All right.
right back.
Thanks.
I'm really hoping it's legal to keep this stuff because it's awesome. If it checks out, I'll definitely make an offer.
What do we have today?
Well, this is a counterfeit bill, so...
Counterfeit?
Yeah.
I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum System, and after 35 years in the museum field, there's not much I haven't seen at some point or another. J. Howard McGrath. Interesting. You know who he was?
Attorney General of the United States.
Well, he was that too. He was three-term governor of Rhode Island. He was a senator as well.
Oh, okay.
McGrath was Attorney General from 49 to 52. He presided over a case that got rid of segregation in dining cars on railroads. It was a fairly active time. Now, let me take a look here. Oh, yes. This is his Secret Service credential. The embossing, the seal is right on this, so this is all right. Normally, if you see one, it's been marked retired, so this is quite unusual. Secret Service passes like this, normally they either have a stripe across them or they're marked retired, so it's an interesting one because it's all completely intact.
How collectible is this guy, and is any of this stuff legal to own?
Having a White House pass, they are not real common. They are collected. That, on the other hand, you don't want. A counterfeit bill is not legal to own. So, obviously, these guys were probably involved in whatever case this came out of and gave it to him as a souvenir. This is the sort of thing that you don't want to own. In 1950, things were a little looser, and when you're the Attorney General of the United States, some of the laws aren't enforced quite as strongly.
Can we shred it?
No. Best thing to do is turn that in to the Secret Service.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in, Mark.
Not a problem.
You're the best.
Appreciate it.
All righty.
What do you want to do with these?
I'd like to sell them.
How much you want for them?
I'd like $1,000.
Not gonna happen. We got Howard McGrath. No one knows who he was.
This one's not stamped retired. You heard him say it was rare.
This is not exactly a badge, so it's going to be a little bit harder to sell. It's sort of on the fringe of badge collecting.
How about 800?
4.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get 5.
Yeah, I'll give you $500.
Good deal.
All right, you want to write them up?
Yeah, sure. Come with me, man.
These Secret Service credentials are amazing. Even though McGrath is not exactly a household name, there's collectors out there who love stuff like this. So what exactly do we have here?
Like a big flashlight.
This is known as an infrared heat seeker for the Sidewinder missiles. They were attached to the F-4 Phantoms.
And should I call Homeland Security now, or?
I'm coming down to the pawn shop to sell my infrared heat seekers for the Sidewinder missiles. The reason I want to sell them is because my father needs money. There's a lot of collectors out there would love to own one. I mean, someone could say that they have one of these. It's amazing, amazing piece of technology.
Rick, this is first.
No, we've never had a guidance system for a missile. I've never really needed one. So this was attached to the F-4?
Yes, and they were used to guide the Sidewinder missiles.
All right, so where did you get this thing?
Well, my father used to do military surplus bidding in the 70s and 80s, and he bid on empty shipping containers, 400 of them, sealed bid. He won it for $25.
Okay.
As he's loading them into the truck, he noticed some were heavy. He opened it up, and these were inside.
This is crazy. A guy buys a bunch of run-of-the-mill shipping containers at a government auction for $25 and finds these inside. That's incredible. But I gotta dig a little bit more before I have the Air Force come breathing down my neck. All right, this is really cool, but do you have paperwork from the Department of Defense or somebody saying you can own this thing?
Yes. They were supposed to have been destroyed, but they
Okay.
ended up at the auction.
And this is all from the Department of Navy, huh? Dear sir, the copy of the board's decision on your owning this.
Rick, that's official Navy documents. It looks like it's good to go.
Okay. So, apparently you own this. But this isn't an actual missile, right? It's been decommissioned.
Yes. I believe they're totally safe.
Okay. It is cool, though. I mean, I really do dig it. Before this, you had to see your enemy.
Yep.
These came out. Now you had dogfights where you were just looking at a radar screen inside the cockpit.
Right.
In 1964, this was so high-tech, it was unbelievable. This was Cold War technology. And the whole thinking was not if we were going to go to war with the Russians, it's when. It's something you didn't want to fall in enemy hands.
Right.
If this really is a Cold War era heat seeker, there's all kinds of people I could sell it to. Aviation collectors, war collectors, technology geeks. But I have to know for sure, is this thing what she says it is? Or if it's legal to buy. It's really interesting, I'll tell you that. What I'm trying to figure out is,
What the hell are you going to do with it?
I mean, are they worth any money? I mean, I don't know if this thing's worthless. I don't know if it's worth $20,000. I don't even know if it's legal to own these things. The last thing in the world I want to do is end up on the no-fly list. Let me go give someone a call, and we'll find out what's going on with it.
Great.
If I can, you can bet your ass I'm going to try and buy this thing. I just don't want to end up with federal agents knocking on my door.
Hey guys, how we doing?
This is it, the heat-seeking device for an F-4.
Wow. I'm a U.S. Marine Corps F-A-18 pilot with 17 years of experience. I'm a graduate of the Naval Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, and also a U.S. Navy Blue Angel pilot. Now, this is a very interesting item. I'm really surprised that you own this. Do you have documents that say that you can have this?
Well, what you do, we have a letter that says we won them.
Okay. You know, I almost didn't believe Rick when he called me. It's actually an AIM-9 heat seeker head. They showed me documents and paperwork, so they're legal to own it. It's very rare to have that outside of a military base, let alone in a pawn shop in Las Vegas.
So how exactly did these work?
This item is basically the top 1.5 foot of a 9-foot heat-seeking missile. If we were to take off this dome, there would be a mirror in there with another reflecting mirror. They would actually spin, and behind that, we've actually got a filter. And that filter would be able to decipher some heat-seeking sources, i.e. an engine on a jet. Probably came out early 1960s. This was leading technology. So we went from shooting bullets, either the 50 millimeter or the 20 cal, and then we expanded it to missiles. And we were the first in the world to do that So instead of shooting from hundreds of feet, we can now shoot out to a mile, mile and a half. So obviously that gave us an advantage early in Vietnam. National security is a big issue, especially nowadays. Back in the 1960s, actually this missile was compromised. Off a German base, an AIM-9 went missing. It was trucked past the Iron Curtain, and a year later, the communists had the exact same missile. So that advantage we had initially in Vietnam was gone by the late 1960s.
So you're not like a Russian spy or anything, are you?
Yet.
Okay, so is there any collector value for this thing?
It's in good shape. On a 1 to 10 scale as a fighter pilot, I'd give it about a 9. It's pretty neat. No one really has one. It's really commercial value, nothing. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's hard to put a dollar on it, but aviation museum, aviation nut, you know, heck, I'd like to have one at home. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
You bet.
I appreciate you coming out.
Good to see you. As a fighter pilot who has fired the AIM-9 missile, it's exciting to see this. If you find a person that really is into it, perhaps an old Vietnam F-4 pilot or somebody like myself, that could be a perfect item for him.
So how much were you looking to get out of this?
About $3,000?
No. I just don't know what to say. I'm thinking $500 and maybe I can do something with it. Maybe I can't. I don't know. It's a real shot in the dark at $500.
You don't think this is worth more money than $500?
I think it's a neat piece of history, but it's an antiquated thing that's going to sit.
So 750's out of the question.
750's out of the question. I'll tell you what. I'll go $550, and I'm crazy even buying it, I think.
Okay, well, we have more, so I'll take $550.
Okay, $550. All right, let's go do some paperwork.
Thank you.
I'm psyched I got this. It's something that'll definitely get people in the door and have them talking. Even if I don't sell it, I'm just as happy having it sit on my shelf. It's awesome.
I would like to show you something that I have.
What is it, like a girdle or something?
Well, kind of. They were used to cheat at playing poker cards or something like that.
A lot of people got killed with those in this town.
I'm sure they did. This is a pretty old device. It's about 1900s. I'm wanting to sell this anywhere from $1,500 to $1,600. We got it when Granny went into a nursing home, and she told me not to show anybody because it was illegal, so it was always stuffed behind the drawer.
Where did you get this?
My husband's grandfather owned a bar in the San Francisco area. One of the bar customers was going to prison, and he gave it to him and asked him to hold it for him.
Okay. I mean, the day they started, people started gambling, I assume the very next day someone figured out a way to cheat.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, everything from dice to cards, marking cards, and it's always been that. Looks like a mechanical device to cheat at cards. It's definitely cool. I mean, there's some really neat little engineering here. Do you know how any of this stuff works?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, I mean, we have like a little cord.
Dad, put it down.
I'm trying to figure it out here.
You're gonna break it. Yep, you
See,
just
that's
broke
what
it.
I thought I would have done.
Okay.
Now you broke it.
Of course, my dad has to pretend like he knows exactly how this thing works. Vegas may be a gambling town, but this is a little out of both of our wheelhouses. So what are you looking to do with it? Do you want to sell it, or
I just want to sell it.
any idea of what you want for it?
I'm thinking the range is anywhere from $600 to $6,000.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to call a friend of mine to come down and take a look at it. There's no way either of us are gonna know what this is worth.
Yeah?
I mean,
Who would you be calling?
I've got a friend who's a magician on the strip and collects all types of this stuff, and if anybody knows about it, it's gonna be him.
Let's do that. That would
All
be
right,
great.
Be right back.
So I'm kind of concerned that the guys want to call a magician, and I'm not sure if a magician is qualified to give me value on a gambling product, but we're gonna see.
This is really cool, actually. Do you ever heard of the saying, "There's nothing up my sleeve"? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is the device that it started from. I can see why Rick called me in for a cheating device, because in magic, that's really what we do. We kind of cheat people out of reality. There's a guy who invented the first living device named Keplinger, and he was the #1 con man in the West Coast. He went up and down the Barbary Coast, the San Francisco coastline, cheating people. He came up with the first type called the Keplinger holdout. It was a card holdout, which meant it would actually hold the card within your sleeve, so it would hold it out until it would be switched with the cards in your hand.
This is really intriguing.
Now, this one By looking at the wells and the joints, the way it's designed, this is actually a Martin San Francisco card holdout made in the 1920s, 1930s. All right?
Well, do you know how it works?
Yes, I do know how it works. And I actually brought a deck of cards with me.
Cool.
So here's what would happen. This area here is always called the thief. The reason why it's called a thief is because it would sneak out from your sleeve, grab a card and steal it, pull it back into your actual sleeve. And it actually fits right. All right, see how it pinches it. And this goes against your forearm. Rick, I'm gonna have you help me. Do me a favor. Take that.
Okay.
Now, when it runs down your body, it comes all the way down with all these round joints. That's why they're round, so it rolls properly, all right? Now, this would be attached between your knees, and you'd open them up. And as you do that, it should slide. As long as we keep it pretty well linear, it should slide out. So pull it.
Pull it?
Yeah, you can pull.
Oh,
So
cool.
that comes out?
Your secret
All
has
right.
been told.
Keplinger's success actually got the best of him. He got caught by some gamblers. They offered to either kill him or him to make the device for them. He made the device for them, and they all went out cheating people. They all get caught, and they went to jail for the rest of their lives.
So what do you think it's worth?
These are really cool because there's not many around, and this is an amazing shape. So a lot of people use them for museum pieces, or they use them as a cool thing in their home to display. For a value on this, what you're looking for is anywhere between $1,500 and $2,200.
Woohoo!
All right?
That's great. Thank you.
man.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me in.
it, buddy.
Good seeing you guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you guys later, all right? Have a good day.
All right. He said it would go for like, what, 15 to 22?
Retail.
that was like retailing it. I would give you $800.
2,000.
There's no way I could give you 2,000. There's just no way. There's no money to be made.
How about 15?
No, I'd give you like $800. It's going to be difficult to sell.
13.
Can always put it back in the sock
There's
drawer.
wiggle
You
room
don't
at
have-
13.
You don't have-
heard the guy.
All right, $900.
$900.
All right, Till.
Well, you know, I've learned something by coming here. I figured out I need to be a better negotiator, but all in all, I think it was worth it.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
I have a set of North Dakota controlled substance tax stamps. The legislatures passed a law back in 1989 requiring people with illegal drugs to purchase a stamp and apply it to their illegal drugs.
Who the hell ever would do that?
I am a stamp collector, so when I seen these up for sale, I decided to purchase those as a collector's item. I'm looking to sell the stamps just to get rid of stuff. My kids don't want it when I'm no longer around.
What's the difference between the different colors? Do you know that? Or?
Well, the green is the ones that were to be affixed to the marijuana.
No kidding.
The blue was controlled substances that are sold by weight, such as cocaine. And in the red, drugs that were sold by dosage, such as heroin.
I mean, I just can't believe the state of North Dakota actually paid to have these things printed.
Well, that didn't go over very well because most of the people that were required to purchase the tax stamp, they certainly didn't want to wave their hand and say, hey, I got illegal drugs here, I need to purchase tax stamps.
Any idea on what you're looking to get out of them, or?
I'm looking to get $100. I've seen them priced on the internet for $125 per stamp.
Okay, here's my issue. For me to be able to do something with these, I'm gonna have to actually pay to get these things framed. I mean, I hate to lowball you so much on them, but honestly, I'd offer you about 30 bucks for them.
I'd have to respectfully decline the $30. I mean, if you can get close to 100, I can maybe come down a little bit.
I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll do 50 bucks because I can buy a really, really cheap frame at the drugstore by my house.
Yeah. All right, I'll go ahead and do 50 on this.
Do 50? All right, man, I appreciate it. So meet me over here, we'll do some paperwork, all right?
All right. $50 is not as much as I was looking for, but I'm gonna take the money and I'm gonna split it up with my grandkids.
What do we got here?
I have a Moonshine Still here for you to check out.
A Moonshine Still.
Yeah.
Where did you get this?
I actually got it at a yard sale.
Interesting to say the least. To think it took thousands of years to figure out how to make alcohol. But once they figured it out, everybody was happy.
I buy and sell antiques and collectibles, and I knew immediately it was a Moonshine Still. I could tell by the copper worm and the way it was set up. I'm hoping to get $750, but I'll take a couple $100. I may look young, but I'm definitely over drinking age.
I will give you the fact that it's really cool. Do you know how to make moonshine?
I don't.
All right, first off, moonshine is not a drink, okay? It sort of got that name for illegal whiskey because during Prohibition, guys would make their whiskey illegally in the moonshine. They continued to make whiskey illegally even after Prohibition because alcohol was legal, but the federal government had a $7 a gallon tax on liquor.
Wow.
Okay? So there was still plenty of incentive to make illegal alcohol. Moonshining was and still is a dangerous line of work. The first 20% of the liquid that comes out of a still can be poisonous and make you go blind. So I'm assuming it doesn't work?
No, it actually, it doesn't make moonshine right now.
Okay. So how much do you want for it? For your still that doesn't work?
$750.
No. This whole valve has to be taken apart and probably rebuilt all inside. I'll give you $100 for it.
I mean, I could do 500.
I can't do $500. If it was in decent shape, I would. So,
maybe you could do 250?
no. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $150 and that is it.
150 is it, huh?
150 is it.
Good deal.
All right, let's go write this thing up.
Okay. You know, he gave me 150 and I feel okay about that. I bought it for $50 and it's a pretty good return.